Hi ladies and gentlemen, it's still June 6th, and I needed to do this follow-up for a number of reasons. You know, I know I get into spiritual things quite a bit, but it's because I do honestly believe that this isn't just a physical world battle, this is a spiritual battle as well. Getting into a little science, you know, the theory of relativity and quantum mechanics and all of those things kind of come into play. We talk about history repeating itself. We talk about, a ring being an eternal round. There's no beginning and no end. We hear about Einstein talking about looking out into space, and if you could look far enough, the universe bends back in on itself, and you'd look at the back of your head. Nothing new under the sun. You ever heard that before? I believe that's, a saying of Solomon's. So here we are back in spiritual systems again. But there's a reason why I'm doing that right now, and I've done this from time to time. History does repeat itself, and I think that what we are doing now, I heard another radio show host talk about this. He's kind of into esoteric things, and he mentioned this, and I think there's some truth to it. He says, we've been here before, we've done this before. We are going to win. We are in our salvation already. We're just finding out how we did it. I kind of like that. I think that was pretty good. So whatever you think about Isaiah's explanation of the war in heaven, I think we're in it right now, at least an extension of it. And it's back to that liberty versus slavery, life versus death thing all over again. So I wanted to talk not so much about the good side, because I've done that a lot. I want to talk, I mentioned the bad side, but I haven't really given you really the inside look. I did that video, NWO and Genesis 47, and I've talked a little bit about Luciferians. And by the way, there's a difference between Luciferians and pagans. Pagans, by and large, are very good people. They believe in the earth, they believe in tilling the earth and building and basically being good people. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Even Christians have burned people at the stake. So it's more of your heart than anything else, as I've always said. And I made a mistake today, and I've already apologized on the last video, No Fear. I forgot to include Buddhism in the religions that do believe in an individual consciousness and in liberty and freedom. And many of the Native American religions do too. And of course, there are probably more. But I was kind of talking about the major types of divisions. And unfortunately, we have to talk about divisions, even though we shouldn't let religious principles separate us. We should all be able to believe how we want and love each other. Charity. You can have faith, hope, and charity, but in reality, if you have charity, the other two don't matter. It doesn't matter what your faith is or what your hope is. If you don't have charity, you have nothing. And I believe that. I think that's true. So we let everybody kind of progress at their own speed and at their own level. But now we got to talk about something real serious. And I am going to use the Judeo-Christian Bible. I'm going to be reading something out of Genesis, and I want you to pay attention here. Something happened with President Obama talking about drones that I'm going to show you in just a minute. And the reason why this little piece of clip is so important is because you can see evil in him. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm calling it what it is. The man is evil, and he proves it in this video. If you watch his countenance change, actually it doesn't change, it just gets more evil and more ominous as he talks. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Everything that the New World Order and these Luciferians have done, they told you they were going to do. They told you somewhere. They told you in their writings. They told you in their conferences, or in this case, they told you at a press conference or some type of a dinner or speaking engagement or whatever it was. I'm not even sure. But they're deceptive. They use subtleties and deception so that you'll miss it. And that they're allowed to do. What do I mean they're allowed to do? Lucifer knows that there is a king of the universe that he is opposing. Okay? He knows that there is a Father in heaven of us. Okay? He knows that there is a God Almighty. He knows that. The greatest deception that he has pulled is that he doesn't exist, when in fact he does. Satan, Lucifer, and really they're not the same thing, but for our discussion we're going to say that it is. All right? I could go into some depth on that, but I got to keep it a little bit simple. So what am I referring to that they have to tell you what they're going to do? The Luciferians are out to destroy mankind. The enmity between the seed of Lucifer, the seed of the serpent, and the seed of the woman. He wants to destroy her and her seed, kill them off, annihilate them. That's really what that's about. If you don't understand it, you need to. It's time to wake up. This is your wake-up call. All right? They believe in their religion. Whether you believe in yours or not, or whether you believe in Jesus, or whether you believe in God, or whether you believe in Allah, or whether you believe in Buddha, whatever, the fact of the matter is these Luciferians believe absolutely in their religion and in the God that they serve, Lucifer. But they are underneath the curse, as is their father. Okay? And it was given to him in the garden. And I'm going to read it to you. Open your eyes, open your ears. This is my take on it, but I think it means something very significant. And the Lord said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now in another place it says the serpent was the most subtle of all the beasts, of all the living creatures. The most deceptive. This curse that he is to go on the ground and be on his belly means he's actually subject to you. Do you see that? So if he is going to take over, if he is going to usurp your authority, he has to trick you into thinking that you're subservient to him. But he's under this requirement. He has to stay on the ground. All of his darkness, all of his plans made in secret. Remember I told you once, the wise, the children of the dark side are wise, the children of the light side really aren't. Well, that has to do with this. It has to do with this long-range deception plan. Okay? So he's under a curse. He has to stay subject to you. Okay? But how does he get around it? He can't, except by deception and subtlety. His curse is this. Again, he is subject to you. He has to tell you in simple ways, this is what I'm getting to, he has to tell you what he is going to do before he does it. Okay? In one way or another. Like a snake, you know, a rattlesnake rattling its rattles, the warning. They have to tell you before they do it, these demons, what they're going to do. But they can do it in subtle terms. They can mix it in with other things, kind of like, the middle of the sandwich between the two pieces of bread on either side. They can hide it, but they have to do it. It's their curse. They can't help it. It's in their genes. They are required to do it, and they can't get around it. But you have to listen. You have to watch. Those who have eyes to see and ears to listen, you must be vigilant. All right? The Luciferians believe their religion, and they are out to destroy the rest of mankind. First, morally, which I'm going to get into in a subsequent videos I've talked about. Breaking down the man, the woman, actually the woman first, then going after the man. Of course, the children and all that. Going after society, destroying everything that you build. They've done it in the past more than once, and they're getting ready to do it again. And they've told you that they're going to do it. I'm going to show you an example of that now. Let's look at this thing from President Obama. I want you to listen carefully and watch his countenance.
That would allow for commercial and private use of the drones.
I have two words for you: predator drones. You will never see it coming. You think I'm joking?
Okay. Do you see what I mean? Did you see that? And he's not kidding. He's not joking. He's telling you what he's going to do. And he's done that with everything. Even when he's denied that he's done something, he's done it in such a way that you know he's going to do it. All right? Now let me show you another clip. This is from Judge Andrew Napolitano. He's going to talk about something that I just think you need to know, to see it on the congressional side. Here we are.
We're shopping and dining over Thanksgiving and maybe watching some football games. Big government Republicans and Democrats were busy shredding the last vestiges of the Constitution. Senators John McCain and Carl Levin want to enact a law that would declare the entire United States of America a battlefield for the military. They're talking about inserting the Army into domestic law enforcement. Senator Lindsey Graham, who supports this bill, says, quote, "The homeland is part of the battlefield, and people can be held without trial, whether an American citizen or not."
Amazing, isn't it? These things are being shown us. All we have to do is be willing to pay attention. We can't be lazy. We might not be wise, but we have to be paying attention. You know, that bear coming around the corner when you're out on a hike, you better, keep your eyes open to know that it's coming, or that train coming down the train track. I think you get the idea. Okay. Enough of that for today. It's been long enough. I just want to say a couple of things. And I said this before, but for some reason I feel like I need to tell you again. If for any reason my channel goes down or I'm not here or whatever, I'm not the only person. There are so many voices out there, so many. And I know that some of them are at odds with each other, little differences or whatever. And as I've said, if somebody does something wrong, you need to call them out on it. But there are some people I'd like you to see. This is one, the two I'm going to show you now. Storm Clouds Gathering. Okay, I've really found him to be excellent. Sea Green 34. He's a younger guy, so for you younger people that kind of like that kind of a presentation, he's good. And then of course Ben Swan, and also the Corbett Report. And for people that like to be a little more racy, a little bit more on the edge, a little bit rough around the edges, there's Pete Santilli. Pete's rough around the edges, but he's firm and he hits it right on the head. Okay? And I'm not just saying that because I've been on his channel. I've been on other things as well. It's just that I guess being a former Marine, I just got to give him a little more credence, okay? So those people I really appreciate. Here are just a couple of them so that you can see them in black and white. This is Storm Clouds Gathering. And Sea Green 34's AM TV, that's alternative media television. And you can get there, of course, by typing that in or just going right there where you can see Sea Green 34 there. That's another good one. All right.